Hello and welcome to YouTube Live here on the Victoria Marie YouTube channel. Merry Christmas. It's almost that time, right? Uh-oh, hold on just a second. There we go. Had to turn that down. I always forget to do that. Turn off the volume down on my computer. Hope you are doing well today, my friends. Pop a hello in the chat. Hello, so glad that you're here. I'm Victoria Calvin of Victoria Marie Designs, and pretty much every Wednesday we go live here on the Victoria Marie YouTube channel talking about all things scrapbooking and crafting. And today we're going to be talking about December Daily. I'm going to tell you all about this project if you are not very aware of it. I hope you are. If you are looking for something fun to document your holiday memories this season, so I'm going to be sharing that, as well as some of the past December Daily projects and some of my unfinished December Daily projects, and how you can approach this project if you are wanting to document your holiday memories. As you can see, I've got my festive headband. This is one of 3, maybe 4 that I own. I may have gotten this from Michael's, I don't know, but it's like a nice little soldier hat, right? A nice little toy soldiers during Christmas time. I absolutely love Christmas. This is my favorite time of year. This is one of my favorite projects. And this year I have a lot of energy for this project. I'm going to talk about what's been going on over the past 4 years and why I hadn't actually gotten around to, finishing my December Daily projects. But that's a different story for a different day. That's a story for today, really, because we're talking about December Daily. So excited that you guys are here. Go ahead and pop a hello in the comment section for me in the chat. If you are new to this channel and you haven't subscribed, or if you've just been lurking around watching videos and you haven't subscribed, what have you been waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. That way you'll be notified each and every time I post new content and go live here to the channel. We are starting Christmas season. This is Christmas or December Eve, the last day of November, and there are many of you who are getting ready to start your holiday projects. So whether they're Christmas cards, if you haven't already started your Christmas cards, some of us, wait until December or close to it, right? Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Hello, everyone. And so usually this time of year, I like to document my holiday activities. I like to document different stories, whether they're past or current stories. Thank you so much, Denise. Whether they're past or current stories. I like to collect, memorabilia that I want to, remember and to have and collect during the holiday season. I just absolutely love this time of year. And I love, as a scrapbooker, being able to document this time of year. I have lots and lots of layouts over the years. And in 2014 is when I was introduced to December Daily. So let me know in the chat, are you someone who has done or is currently doing December Daily or some type of project that's similar? Do you have a special project where you document this time of the year? Now, of course, there's like over 20, I think there's like 20 some odd holidays that are observed, cultural, religious holidays that are observed between, the beginning of fall towards the end of winter. So there's lots and lots of wonderful opportunities to document. And if it's not so much a cultural, religious holiday, so to speak, there just could be things that you do this time of year, depending on where you're at, that you might want to document, you want to remember. Or maybe it's just everyday, regular stories of things that happen this time of year. So let me know, do you document a lot of what's going on this time of year? Do you do December Daily or do you do another project? So let me know. And as you are posting, yes, I have my toy soldier headband on. Can you tell I love the holidays? I actually bought this last year towards the end of the year. And I said, as soon as Christmas rolls around, I'm popping my toy soldier headband on. Oh, Gemma says, excited for documenting my baby's first Christmas. That's right. It will be baby's first Christmas. That's so special. Oh my gosh. Denise says, love your headband. Super cute. Thank you so much. Sarah says, not me, realizing the top left image was an overlay and wondering how that album is being held up. Yes, this is an overlay. It's an overlay. Love your hat. So cute. Thank you so much, Diane. I appreciate that. Started but not finished many years. Yep, same here, Debbie. Same. I'm in the same boat. This is going to be my first year, says Sherry. Well, welcome to December Daily. I hope you enjoy it. Mary says she's been documenting for years. Finishing, not counting, of course. No, not at all. And sometimes these projects can be perpetual. There are some folks who will start a holiday album and then just add stories to it year after year. So it doesn't have to be something that you finish, so to speak. Bernie says, not yet, but hoping to be inspired. I hope so too. It's a really fun project. Anna says, I want to do a December Daily, but that's so much commitment. I'm going to talk about how you can make it easy, how you can make it simple. Good morning from Sydney, Australia. God, these comments are coming in fast and furious. Okay. Kimberly says, every year I try and start. This year I realized I live a pretty boring life. Going to work on that. And it doesn't have to be current things, right? It can be past stories as well. Last year, my first December Daily, loved it so much. I'm back for more. Hey, Margaret, that's so awesome. Well, I know a lot of us have some experience or at least some idea of what December Daily is. But if you don't know, December Daily is a storytelling project that was created by a longtime scrapbooker, memory keeper, and professional in our industry. Her name is Allie Edwards. In fact, I thought I had the website pulled up. And Allie is, one of the reasons why I love Allie's projects is she's someone I've gotten to know over the past couple of years or so. We linked up in 2020. One of the things that I love about her project so much is that she really dives into storytelling and making storytelling a big part of the scrapbooking journey. And one of the things that I absolutely love about, let me see if I can open that up. One of the things that I absolutely love about this particular project is that it's forcing you to sort of be still during this time of year and to sort of document what's going on in your life. And it doesn't necessarily have to be everyday things that you're doing or big things that you're doing like holidays and traditions and stuff. It could just be the everyday simple things that you have going on in your life or something you want to draw attention to or something you want to pay attention to during this time of year, particularly when it's so hectic and it's so busy. Sometimes we forget to slow down and just kind of enjoy the season. And it could be the season because you're celebrating Christmas. It could be because you're celebrating Kwanzaa or Hanukkah, or it could be that you don't celebrate any of those things. Maybe it's just purely the season of the year. It could be that there's something major going on in your life, or just could be simple stories that you want to document and throughout the month. And so Allie has been doing this project for, oh my goodness, several years. I think since 2006 or 2007, one of the two. And it became one of the major projects that she works on. And since then, she has introduced a ton of other projects as well. But the idea is that you will document a story every day, and it can be anything you want to. And I think Allie does hers for 25 days. Some people do it for the entire month of December. Some people have taken the basis of this project and have kind of made it their own. So while some folks may not document daily, they may in fact maybe only document the highlights of the month, or they'll spend the month collecting stories and then they'll document in January or February because December may be a little bit hectic, or they just want to spend a little bit more time with their stories, and December may not be the time for them to do that. So there are a lot of different iterations of December Daily. And for a lot of people, when they hear December Daily, they think, oh my God, I don't think that I have anything to talk about on a daily basis, or that just seems overwhelming. And I want you to know that you don't have to approach the project this way. In fact, Allie encourages you to approach the project in a way that feels organic to you. So if you decide to do something like this, whether you do it daily or you just collect stories throughout the week, or maybe you just do an overview, the idea is the process of documenting your life during this point in time. And as someone who loves the story aspect of scrapbooking, this really spoke to me. And so there's some years where I just have stories that are just regular, everyday, what we're doing, and kind of documenting what we're doing in my family, myself personally, as an individual, or my family, if there's something big that's going on, that type of thing. or it could be, or I should say, major events that are going on, our holiday traditions, travel, that type of thing that may end up in my December daily. Some people have renamed December Daily-ish, because it's not every day that maybe they're documenting, or some people may refer to it as December documenting. There are other types of documenting projects out there if you're familiar or not familiar with it. So December Daily is one of them. And the whole idea, the premise behind a lot of these projects is to really just focus, to slow down and to focus telling stories. So my friend Shamil Lane, she hosts a project, this is another option, called Journal Your Christmas. And she runs that, I believe, at the beginning of December into January, I believe are the dates. And she has a class that's available that you can take. And the whole idea, again, is documenting during this time of the year. And I believe she has prompts and things in that particular class. But in any event, this particular project, December Daily, is one that I have loved since 2014. So I'm going to walk you through some of the albums, and I'm going to talk to you about how I plan to approach this project this year and what happened since 2018 and why I didn't finish the albums and why you shouldn't stress about that. And then I'm going to set up my holiday cart, which I have right behind me. I have it all cleared out, ready to go to set up my holiday cart. So you guys get to come along with me on that. And then starting on Friday, that will be the first video in my December Daily 2022 series. The past couple of years, I just have not been that consistent in posting that content because I didn't work on my album. But this year I am bound and determined to document my stories. I really have been anticipating this time of the year coming. I love Christmas. And the past couple of years, I just felt that some of that energy just wasn't there for obvious reasons, of which we will not go into right now. But anyway, it was a lot of crazy things that were going on the past couple of years. And I decided this year I want to bring some joy back. And a part of my joy during this time of year is this particular project. Couple of things. For December Daily, Allie highly recommends that one, you focus on your stories and enjoy the stories in whatever way you want to document them, whether you use her method of prepping your album beforehand and adding your stories, or you just collect stories throughout the month and then you work on the project later on. Any way you want to do it is absolutely fine. Number two, if you need a starting point, I highly recommend that you check out Allie Edwards' December Daily class. I did post a link to her website. All you have to do is go to her website, click on classes, and there are several classes that are for December Daily, but the primary class, if you scroll all the way down in her classes, I think it's called Journaling with December Daily or something or the other, that will give you kind of an overview of the project and give you first steps in getting started. I highly recommend that you take that class. She also has some other classes and things that she's hosted and have brought in guest instructors to teach. I can't talk. Like December Daily product play and all that type of thing. She has a full line of products in albums if you want to purchase it. But one of the things she says, and she can't underscore enough, is that you don't need the products to do the project. The products are just a tool to help you. If you want them, you can use whatever you have to create a beautiful album for this project if you want, okay? And you can do this digitally too. She does have digital options as well if you're a digital scrapbooker or you just like using digital elements in your scrapbook pages. Kimberly says, every year I try to start this and realize that I read that one already. She says she lives a boring life. You don't live a boring life. You live your life. You live your life. I combine Shamil's Journal Your Christmas with prompts from December Daily, says Elena. Absolutely. Hey, Deborah Williams, I hope you're doing well. Carrie says, I love your hat. Thank you. Thank you. I'm a Christmas toy soldier today. Alrighty, so let me switch my camera. And we're going to talk about kind of where I'm at or where I've been. As I've mentioned, I have done this project since 2014. In fact, my very first December Daily album, I didn't know what I was doing. I just thought, oh, that's a really fun project. And I went out and I dug in my stash rather and found all of my Christmas goodies and things that were close to it. And hey, Beth, how are you? So glad that you're here. So this was the first December Daily album, and I used everything that I used for this thing was from my stash. So I had some wood letters and I painted them and I did some heat embossing. I add some washi tape and I did the whole thing. I don't decorate the outside of my albums anymore. This is the only one I did, mainly because look, it's starting to pill. So this album is actually going to be Let Go. And I am going to be putting the contents of this album in a fresh new album pretty soon. So this was from 2014. I had just learned about this project, had just started really following Actually, I've been following Allie Edwards for a very long time. And I just started out with just really basic, just decorating my album, adding my stories. You know, I've heard a little bit about December Daily at that point. Wasn't quite sure what I was doing, but I had a lot of fun putting this album together, documenting my stories, using things from my stash. I see a lot of Teresa Collins in this one. Some old, goodness, where was that one from? I don't even know where that's from. I have some Jenny Bolin in here. I've got a lot of just older things. Look at that picture of Corinne. She was so teeny tiny. My daughter Corinne, for those of you who have been around for a while, she's standing on a little step stool decorating the tree. She was very little. She was 4 at that time. Documenting all kinds of stories. Our elf, Cheery. There's our elf. She's going to be making an appearance really soon. I also was playing with some interactive elements as well. I'm keeping, memorabilia and things in here. We went to Main Event when my father-in-law and his wife came down. We had a lot of fun. At the time I was working outside the home. I was actually working for an agency called CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates, advocating for kids in foster care. So I kind of took taking pictures of kind of like my everyday thing. We took Corinne to see the Nutcracker for the first time that year. And so I put in our program, and that was a lot of fun sharing that tradition with our daughter. I'm missing a picture here and I don't know where that's at. Opening up gifts, visiting Santa Claus, using, again, lots of stuff from my stash. I think this was, that might have been Teresa Collins. I have some really, really old stuff in here too. Keeping tickets. So this basically just documented this time of year during that time. I kept some notes and tickets of things that we have, letters from Santa, letters to Santa, us making cookies, that type of thing. Our elf, who is posed here with a little Cerveza Corona bottle. This was actually a magnet. We were at my mom's house, and this is a magnet that she has. It's a little bitty Corona bottle. So I don't know who put Cheery in the bowl with the Cerveza, but there we go. Hey Savannah, how's it going? Reagan says it's fun to look back and see the progression of styles and skills. Absolutely. And Liz, I will be talking about my take on this project for sure. So this was my first time doing it. I was trying a little bit of everything with this project. I've got, I was experimenting with shakers at that time. I had some shaker mix. I didn't know what that was at the time. And I saw a video and I said, hey, I'm going to do that. Playing with some heat embossing, putting things outside the pocket. My daughter is saying, I think she was saying a school prayer at that time. She went to a Montessori at that time, and they did prayer during lunchtime, during their Christmas party. Just a lot of older materials here, wood veneer. I had so much fun putting this together, and I had no clue if I was doing it right or whatever. You know how we think whenever we're doing something new. So Deborah says, notice you don't use numbers. I didn't in this one. I didn't in this particular album, but I have in other albums. More Christmas decorating, documenting Bree when she was watching her favorite movie, A Year Without Christmas. So I just really love this album. And you know why I love this first one? Because I had no expectations of what it was to be. I just grabbed some supplies and I just enjoyed every day coming home from work. I worked at a place where it was really stressful. The work that we were doing and advocating for kids in foster care was super stressful. And so when I came home to this project every day, I looked forward to it because it meant that I was documenting something happy, and versus, having to deal with all the heaviness that is when you're working with children and care and having to deal with the system and that type of thing. The pictures aren't all that great. This is before I really started using my iPhone and, before the technology got really better at pictures and stuff, using some old layered ephemera. This is outside. I think that might be K&Co. I can't remember. We went to see Christmas lights. And so I just focused on telling stories that made me happy. I also think that year we went to Oklahoma to visit my in-laws. And we spent Christmas there, which was a lot of fun. I think this particular Christmas, we stayed with my father-in-law, and we stayed up into the wee hours of the morning to open presents, I think. Maybe that wasn't that Christmas. Then we went to my mother-in-law's house, and so I documented that on Christmas Day, and I took a picture of her tree with all those presents for the grandkids. Lots of presents. And then, of course, Rennie opening up her presents when she was into dolls and stuff. I missed that stage. So anyway, and Christmas dinner. And so no expectations here with this particular project, but it's fun to go back and look at what you were using and what you were documenting. And a lot here is a mix of everyday stories and current stories that I was documenting. But again, I had no clue what I was doing. I just had fun and documented my stories. And I think that's kind of the best thing when we don't have expectations. Then one year, 2016, I decided to try my hand at a smaller project. And one of the things I want to mention is that your December daily, typically, originally it started out kind of as a 6x8 type of project. And you don't have to do 6x8. There are people who do 12x12. Allie introduced a 10x8 as a part of her product line this year. Some people do mini album or traveler's notebook size. There's 9x12. So there's a lot of different sizes that you can work with for this project. For some of us, we may stick to a 6x8, but we may venture out and do other sizes. So one year I decided to do a 4x4, and this was really, really fun. This was 2016, again, using items from my stash. And I haven't finished this one yet, so I have a list of stories here that I need to document. My Grinch cup that always manages to get into my projects, as it's one of my favorites. And I was working at a smaller scale in terms of sizes. I learned how to reduce the size of my photos. This was 4x4, 2x2. I don't think that for this size of product, I don't think I'll do 2x2 photos anymore. 2x2 photos. I'll probably do 4x4 if I do that again. But I started focusing again just on everyday things. The music that I was listening to, my Christmas mugs, spending time with my mom. This was before she came to live with us. Corinne and all of her dolls. This isn't necessarily a Christmas related story. It's just what was happening that day. So not all the stories have to be Christmas related, especially if you're someone who doesn't observe Christmas. Maybe you observe another holiday, another tradition, or none at all. These are the types of stories that you can put in, just the everyday. So this particular story, I walked into Corinne sitting amongst all of her dolls, which was super cute. She had them all stacked up. And this was a fun memory to capture because, she's 12 now. So this doesn't happen anymore. All of her dolls are somewhere. So it doesn't happen anymore. A date with my spouse. So I wanted to document that because we just don't go on a whole bunch of dates. Hot cocoa and how we call it fancy cocoa. So this was a really fun project. And I kept it really super simple, adding in tags, adding photos outside the pocket. So that's something that I was, that I was experimenting with, taking pictures of my brunch that I had by myself. I love to eat by myself. I love taking myself out to eat. So I documented that. My daughter was doing, she did a report on La Befana, which is a character that's celebrated in Italy for the Epiphany. So she did a research project on that. And so just documenting all kinds of things, whether it was school stuff or whatnot, Nutcracker, my favorite candy, Lindor, that type of thing, Lindor. It got super cold one day, which is not, something that happens all the time in Texas. The gifts that we gave that year, we did popcorn bowls and we bought people what was it at the time? Redbox gift cards so that they can rent a movie from the Redbox. I don't even know, is Redbox still around? I don't even know if it's still around with all the streaming and stuff that's going on. We went to the Gaylord and saw decorations. Here I have the pages numbered because I did do, a different story, different day. Now notice that this album is not done. I do need to go back and finish up this album, but I do have the stories on a list. So if at minimum, if you're super busy this time of year, then just keep a running list of the stories that you want to document, and you can just keep that folded up in the album that you want to use or somewhere, so that when you come back and revisit the project, then you remember, yeah, that's what I wanted to document for the 25th. It doesn't have to be specifically something holiday related. It can be whatever it is that you want to document and remember for that specific day, or if you just want to kind of summarize what was going on. So that was 4x4. Now, if I flash forward just a little bit, so I have not, me see. Let me pull all these out. So things were trucking along somewhat okay the past few years, but life gets in the way. Life gets in the way. 2018 started out, what I did was I prepped this album. This was an album from Allie Edwards. This is 6x8, 2018 there. Part of her process is to set up foundation pages. You don't have to set up a foundation page. But for her, setting up a foundation page allows her to just focus on the stories and photos when December starts. So what she'll do, and what a lot of people do, is they'll get their product and they'll set up their foundation pages and kind of denoting the day, like the stories. You can number the stories if you want to, based on the day or just the number of stories you want to put in your album. And then you put in your page protectors, or you set up your album based on what materials you want to use, so that when December starts, all you have to do is print your photos and write your journaling, maybe add a little bit more embellishing, and then you're good to go. Now, Allie does this to help save time during December because, as we all know, December gets really super hectic. Now, in 2018, I had all the best intentions. I did set up my album, but what happened is we built our house and we moved into our house, and it was a delayed build, and so we were rushing to try to get out of our apartment to get moved into the house, and it was right during the holiday season. And so I had set up the album, but I didn't have a lot of time to take pictures and to do all the things. And so I said, you know what? I am just going to come back to this at some other time because, you know, as we all know, moving in itself can be kind of stressful. But we had a lot of transitions that particular year. So I really want to come back to revisit this because there's a lot that was going on that year in addition to us moving into our home. So this is pretty much set up. I'm actually going to come back to this album here in just a second when I talk about 2022. I like to decorate the inside cover of my album, and so I have these 3 little tags, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a picture of Bree and myself and Corinne. I might actually have to change the size of the tags because when I did this, Corinne was small. Actually, she's as tall as I am now. So I'm going to maybe change out the tags, added in some little stars. This is a Starbucks sleeve that you put on a cup, and created a little pocket out of that. So anyway, this album was all set up, never even got started because, you know, life. Things happened. We built a house. Things were hectic. 2019 rolls around. I'm like, yes, let's get into it. I've got my December daily album. This is Simple Stories, a Simple Stories album, I believe, I think. Created this fun little insert. I like to create kind of this little title situation, cut out a whole bunch of circles using a variety of different substrates from cork, glitter paper, cardstock, wood veneer number 25. I think I may have used a lot of Ellie Studio and Felicity Jane in this one, but things were starting out pretty good. I have my little calendar here, started decorating, adding stories of my family, journaling. We got Cherry's back in the mix. There she is. Photos have gotten better. Design is starting to get a little better as compared to my first one, right? Trying to keep it nice, simple, and clean, doing interactive elements, adding in different stories. I believe this particular month, my mother was in the hospital. And so I talked a lot about caregiving as well. Playing with some little flip ups here, day 4. Documenting my favorite Christmas movies, which I'm so glad that I did this because sometimes year to year I forget, you know, what movies are out there that I like to watch. So this is a really great reminder of all the movies I want to make sure that I watch. And I played around with, I want to say I created this photo using either Canva or Photoshop, probably Canva, because I didn't start playing around with Photoshop until last year or the year before. And so playing around with my different photo options, having some fun there, really having fun with play with design and interactive elements here. Still trying to keep it nice, simple, and clean. I really think I use a lot of Ellie Studio for this one, which was a lot of fun. A lot of flip ups. So I think I got to, I started playing with cut files with this one. This was a cut file. I don't remember from where, but I cut it on some really pretty metallic paper, shiny paper. Adding in some other ephemera. I usually try to add in Starbucks stuff here. My annual tumbler, I usually get a holiday tumbler every year, so that's what this was for. And then I had this interactive piece that I made for, I don't know, some design team, something I can't remember what for, but these open up this little advent calendar. This was a cut file that you can cut on your Silhouette or Cricut, which was super cute. And that's where it stopped. That's where it stopped. So I do have 2019 that I need to finish. Okay. So 2019 didn't quite get there. That's okay. 2020 was a crapshoot. I had the best of intentions. I took the product play class and started learning some different things. I love this particular spread. I forgot who designed it, but I used it in my album. So I'm talking about 2020 is different than the past years. Talked about this is my 7th year participating in December Daily. Very excited. Talked a little bit about what was going on in 2020, but decided that I was going to try to make the most of it as best as I can. This particular page has I used all December Daily products on this one and created this little opening. I hand stitched it on the side. Really, really love this. I learned this in the product play class, and those classes are offered through Allie Edwards. Again, decorating the cover part, the inside cover. This is all Allie Edwards stuff here. And then, of course, I set up my pages, but I didn't do anything. I didn't document. I was not feeling it. I was not towards the end of 2020, I just was not feeling it. It was just too much going on. I did add in a lot of the product, the tags and things. Again, my style is trending toward being more clean for this particular project. But you know what? It's set up with the different page protectors and the dividers and stuff like that. So when I get back to 2020, I will have at least this page started. Really love that. So that was this album. Again, 2020 didn't happen. 2021 started, again, using some Allie Edwards stuff. Didn't quite make it on this one. I have like maybe one story told. Playing around with some different design here. I love that year she included oranges in her collection, so that's really pretty. Doing some half circle situations here, using some cut files where I can add photos. And what I wanted to do was kind of document what my family was up to, or kind of what their likes and dislikes were of the season. And so their photo is on one side, and then the journaling is on the other side. And I created that in Photoshop. So that's when I started playing around in Photoshop. So I put our age. So like for me, Victoria, age 40. It's my favorite time of the year. Decorations, lights, movie, music, food. The Nutcracker, spending time with family. What I dislike is expensive, stressful, setting unrealistic expectations. This is a really good idea if you're stumped as to what to put in your December Daily. If you've got friends or family with whom you reside with, or even not, maybe they're just people that are close in your life, you can do a page like this where you talk about what you like or dislike, or maybe it's just for you. What do you like about this time of year? What do you dislike about this time of year? That's always something that you can put in your album, particularly for those of you who say, you know what, my life is a little boring. I don't know what to write. These are the types of stories that you can write. I talked about our new tradition of watching Disney's Noel. This is found on Disney Plus with Anna Kendrick and Bill Hader, who play children of Santa Claus. And Santa Claus dies, their dad dies. And so Bill Hader's character is supposed to become Santa Claus, but he doesn't want to, and he's not equipped to. But guess who is? Noel is. So it's really, really fun. Our hot cocoa, we make waffles that day. Again, pictures are nice, clear, and bright in this one. Experimenting with different styles of journaling. So I printed this journaling in Photoshop, or made it in Photoshop, and printed it out and trimmed it to the size of this pocket. And I think it's like 3x8 or something like that. And then pictures of Corinne and I, just keeping it real clean and simple there. Okay. And notice there's nothing else here for 2021. So I'm showing you this because, one, I don't want you to feel bad. For those of you like me who have a bunch of albums you haven't finished, don't feel bad about it, right? Scrapbooking is scrapbooking. Those stories aren't going anywhere. They either live in our hearts and our minds forever. They will live in our hearts and minds forever. It's not going to go anywhere. So one, don't feel stressed about this. Two, I highly recommend that you start with the current year. And that's my approach. We're going to start getting into my approach, and then I'm going to show you what I'll be using and why I didn't buy anything this year. So my approach to this is very simple. One, I'm only going to focus on this year. I don't care if 2018 isn't done. I don't care if 2019 isn't done. I'm only focusing on 2022. And what I'm focusing on are, one, for me to live in the moment. I've been very, very busy recently. And this year, I don't feel that I've actually slowed down to kind of appreciate what's going on in my life and in my family and that type of thing. And so I decided that I am going to embrace the joy of the season and document a variety of different stories. a variety of different stories. So whether they're everyday stories, whether they are traditional, this is what, putting up the tree and decorating the house, that usually goes into my December daily. But I want to leave it open to things that just happen throughout the month that I feel that I want to document in this particular album. And occasionally I like to include my family in that storytelling if they're up to it. I never force anybody to contribute anything to my projects. I will be doing a 6x8 album. I'm going to show you which one of these unfinished albums I'm going to be using. And I did not buy anything new for this project. I have a ton of December Daily product that I have purchased over the past few years, and I have like an overabundance of stuff. I could not justify buying anything else for this project, and I love me some Ali Edwards stuff so much. I just cannot justify it. So you don't have to buy new stuff in order to do this. You can use exactly what you have in your stash. So you have a whole bunch of holiday related stuff or not. You use whatever you have to create the project that you want. Let's talk about project size, because I see there's some questions there. I do not create 12 by 12 layouts for this project. One, because I consider this a themed project, and over the past 10 years or so, I stopped doing 12 by 12 size albums for like vacation and theme type projects, because it's just, it's easier for me to do 6x8 or a smaller size, or even a 9x12. I find a little bit more manageable, a little bit more easier to do. I don't want to create a bunch of 12 by 12 Christmas related layouts, whether they're pocket or traditional. It's just a personal preference. If you want to create a 12 by 12, by all means, there's certainly people who do that. One of our scrappy folks in our community, Nicole Jones 911, she does 12 by 12 December Daily albums, and she does pocket layouts in that particular album that's 12 by 12. So if you need more space for your stories, then do a bigger project. You do not have to do 6x8 or something smaller. It's completely up to you. Some people will do a variety of sizes. So each year they'll do a different size. Some people stick to the same size. So I always recommend work in a size that you feel most comfortable. And if you're not sure, try a size. And if it doesn't work, you can always change it. For me personally, I like 6x8 sizes for these types of projects. Okay. All right. So let me show you the album that I'm going to be working on. So you remember this 2018 album that I had set up and I was good to go, and then I never did it. This is the album that I'm going to use for 2022. And at some point when I get back to 2018, I'll just grab another album for that. The reason why I decided to use this one, because it's already set up. Like, work smart, not hard, right? This is already set up. So all I have to do is just go in and add whatever bells and whistles I'm going to do. The only thing I'm going to change in this is I like to add a calendar in the front. And there are online resources, people who design a calendar for your December Daily. I think Allie started to include a calendar in her December Daily products. But you can grab one online and print it out and cut it down to the size of the album that you want. So I like to pop in if there's special things that are going on, like my daughter's performing in the Nutcracker, Christmas Day, and she's performing 12 times during the season, but I like to document what kind of events and things happen on specific days. We're going to go see My Fair Lady this weekend, so that's something that's going to go on my in my December Daily, and I'll put it here on the calendar, or the updated calendar rather. This was a calendar from 2018. So anyway, I'm going to update that. But the rest of this is already set up. So when I started thinking about my 2022 project, I'm like, oh, I need to order an album. And then I thought to myself, why? Because you already have like 4 albums that are already set up. Why go buy another album? Thanks, Liz. Thanks so much. You already have another album. Why go buy another one? So this one's already set up and ready to go. This is a 6x8 album. This was designed by Ali Edwards, and I'm using her product line from that year. And what I will do is go through. I already have the pages, somewhat numbered. I have the numbers. These are chipboard, white chipboard numbers, which are great. And I may use the same style number throughout the album or not. You can number your layout based on day or the number of stories, or not at all. It doesn't matter. And then I'll just go and start adding my stories. I already have 3 stories I know I want to add right away. So usually after Thanksgiving, I will put in the story of my daughter and I watching Noel and eating waffles. Even though that happened after Thanksgiving Day, it's going to go in my December Daily album. Not all of your stories in this album have to have happened in December of that year. Okay. And then I'm just going to go in and just start putting in my stories. And it saves me so much time because I already have the basic layout done for the most part, and I can change it around. So if I decide I don't want this particular style of page, maybe that goes into a different part of my album and I just pop in something that I do want, right? It's no big deal. We're not stressing over this. I'm focusing not only on everyday stories, but I'm focusing on events. And I might even pop in some stories that are retrospective. So things like old traditions or maybe family members that I miss this time of year. Like I miss my grandma this time of year, and she's been gone for a very long time. But this is all set up. So why even start from scratch when I can just use that? I already have some interactive elements and I'll be adding some more. In here, this is from December Daily. When you get your December Daily kits, if you purchase them, part of the box, this is a lid to the December Daily box. And so a lot of us cut this and use it in our December Daily. And I just punched holes. I added some product here. This is a felt heart with a little chipboard sticker. I love using fabric elements. Look at that in my albums. And then I just did some black and white gingham here on the opposite page. That might be Felicity Jane pattern paper. I don't know. Anyway, I've got some 3x4 pockets. Oh, by the way, this project has a lot of pocket pages. If you're new to this, and this is the first time you've heard of this, you don't have to do pocket pages if you don't like pocket pages, meaning that you have these divided pockets that you can put cards and photos and journaling and whatnot. You don't have to do this style if you don't want to. If you want to do, say for instance, you're doing a 6x8 album, you can do 6x8 layouts. If you're doing a 12x12 album, you can do traditional 12x12 layouts. It's whatever you want to do. Remember, this is the storytelling project more than anything, and the design is just the icing on the cake. Okay. Alrighty, so this is already set up, guys. I'm going to use this. I even have a Starbucks bag in here. So that saves me the trip of buying something. Well, I'm going to go obviously buy stuff at Starbucks, but I already have a little bag in here. I love their bags, and I usually try to put one in throughout the year. So there we go, right? There we go. All set up, ready to go. I've got my dividers in here, and I can obviously add what I want to add, okay? So that's the album that I'm using this year, 6x8 album. And I usually like to stick with 6x8 because it's easy for me to manage. And I'd rather go work smart and do the simple thing and have fun. I am going to keep this decorative element here with the Starbucks little sleeve. I've already done that. I really like the way that this came out. So I'll just add whatever I'm going to add to the little tags, and they'll be interactive. So I can pull it out. There'll be a photo of my little family member or me, and then I'll put our age and then some kind of journaling here. Okay. Alrighty, so that's the album that I'm using. Now, what I did was I went through my stash and I pulled out all of my December Daily stuff. When I knew that I wasn't about to finish this project, I just organized everything in baggies, and I said at some point I will come back to this. Well, that some point is today. So I am going to organize all this and get it into my cart. Now, I am going to do this real quick. I'm going to readjust my camera so I can show you what I'm talking about. Typically my process is I will purchase my album, purchase my supplies. I typically mainly use Allie's. I have used Felicity Jane. I have used Ellie Studio in the past, and I love all of those products. I'm going to move my camera mount just a little bit because I'm going to reposition my camera. So I always recommend using supplies that you really, really, truly enjoy. You don't have to go out and buy a whole lot of new stuff. Actually, let me put this somewhere, but not there. You don't have to go and buy a whole lot of new stuff, okay? You can use what you have. Or maybe you just buy a little bit of something. And it doesn't have to be Alley stuff if you're doing December Daily or December Documented or whatever you want to call it. You use what you love. Some people, I'm going to move this forward just a little bit. Some people like doing really, really decorative albums. Some folks, there we go. I think we should be able to see that. Some people like to do more simple and clean, right? And just kind of keep it really simple, really basic. And some of us kind of fall in between, right? So I like to make sure that, Carrie's like, that's a lot of stash. I know. This is why I didn't buy any new stuff. Excuse me. Watching you go through this stuff energizes me. Oh, great, great, great. Hey, Tam, I think I remember the album. Yeah, I originally showed it, but it's what it is. Anyway, so the way how you decorate your album, or if you choose to decorate your album, it just could be photos and stories. Again, you have a lot of leeway here. The key is flexibility. Alrighty, so I have my cart here that I'm going to set up, and I would probably say maybe 4 years ago, I started using a cart. And what I found was when I put my December daily items in an iris case, it was just harder to get those items out and to use. I was less likely to use my products and work on my project. Then I just started using a tier divider like this one. This was from IKEA. I don't think they sell this, guys, anymore. I don't think they sell this. I think maybe in black. It's called a Fajala or something like that. I have no clue. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you know what this is called. But any tiered divider, and I would just sit it on my desk. But then I found that I needed something to move around. And so I got this cart from Michaels, and it's a 3-tiered cart. And the cart itself, the tiers here are wide. They're not very long, but they're wide. And I thought this would be perfect, and I can just stock it with items for projects that I'm working on. So for me, it's my December daily that I'm going to be restocking this with. Before it was my, what did I have in here before? Oh, I had Disney in here before. That's what I had in there. Okay, so I'm going to set this up. Now, I have all of these materials that I have organized in these large gallon containers, and I want to try to see if I can use as much of this as I possibly can. I more than likely will keep this out because I want to start working on these other projects throughout the year. There's no rush, right? These stories, these projects aren't going to go anywhere. All right. So I just started organizing these little bits and pieces in these little plastic bags. And what I like to do is I set up my product with paper and stuff here. So let me go ahead and do that now. I like to make sure that I have a lot of variety of different types of papers that I can use. And this was a suggestion that I got from Allie Edwards when I took one of her product play classes, is to have just, a few bits and pieces of things that you can use in your albums if you want to do some interactive things or add some texture. So I have corrugated papers, I have glitter papers, I have cork as well. Just anything that would look really, really cool and fun in the project. I have it in this little container here that I got from maybe, I don't know, Michael's? Not sure. So this is going to sit right here in my tiered divider. I also have tons and tons of things like washi tape and the whole nine. Let me grab some of the larger elements here. Let's see. I haven't actually looked at everything, I'm going to be honest with you. As I was pulling this together. I haven't looked at everything I have with this. Let's see. Some of my larger elements, like these papers here, she had offered some pattern papers and such last year. I'm going to stick those right here. Okay. Anything that you plan on using, you want to have it organized. Large stamps and stuff, I'm just going to stick right there. Okay. The reason why I use this is because I can see it. I can see it and I can work with it. All right. So that's good. Now, because this is a project in which I use a lot of pocket cards, I'm going to go ahead and start storing my pocket cards as well. So I have these longer pocket cards that are like 3x8 or something like that. I'm going to put those right here. My smaller pocket cards are going to go right here. So my 4x6. And these are all Allie Edwards for the most part. I may also have some materials from other collections like Ellie's Studio. I do like to mix collections, so I don't always use the same collection for the entire album project. I will mix and match for sure. Okay, I have some fabric containers. I got these at Target. Anytime that you spot Target stuff, grab it if you have a Target or some similar store. So I'm going to put my washi tape. These were washi tapes that were offered in Allie's collection. And then I have some other washi tapes from like American Crafts and whatnot. I'm going to put all my little washi tape in here. I like to combine things, collect things in categories, so it makes it easy for me to find when I'm working. I don't want any type of anything that's distracting me from getting the project done. Okay, so little fabric bin is going to go right down here. Washi tape set to go. Have some more pocket cards there. Anything that you're using, if you can set it up in a logical way, it does help a lot. Alrighty, next thing that I want to organize is I have a lot of stamps and whatnot that I want to use for my projects. So I'm going to reach in here, and I might go through this later. This is not all stamps. There are some stamps in here. I might go through this later and decide, you know what, there may be some things I'm not going to use this year, because you don't have to use all the things every year. I might just go through and kind of narrow this down, but it depends on how I'm feeling. So I do have some font stickers here that are beautiful that I never used. And I like to kind of set these things up close where I can see them. All my stamp sets and whatnot, when you see me put pages together, if I use the stamp sets and such, you'll see me, and I'll make sure I'll point that out. Some of these are Allie Edwards, some of these are Ellie Studio. So I like to put those up front so I can see it. Stickers and whatnot, that'll eventually, you know, get somewhere. Here's that. Maybe I'll put this in the sticker category. Got stamps there. Awesome. And I have quite a bit of the stamps. I do stamp a lot in my projects, which is a lot of fun. So let's get those all set up and ready to go. All right, cool. Let me know in the comment section, do you have a specific way that you like to set up your seasonal, your holiday scrapbooking supply so you can scrapbook efficiently, I should say, throughout the year? Let me know in the chat section. Also, I have a bunch of Allie's chipboard, which is like my favorite thing to use. So lots of chipboard here, chipboard sheets. Some folks will pop these chipboard pieces out and then they will store them in a different, you know, container. I like to keep mine on the sheets. Very nice sturdy chipboard. And so usually I'll probably put those here. I think that's where I had them the last time. And any type of interactive media, like envelopes and tags and whatnot. So I have a whole bunch of those types of things. This came out of my stash. I definitely want to make sure that I have that handy somewhere. So I'm just going to kind of pop that there. And then these pockets and whatnot, I'm definitely going to make sure that I have available to me. So maybe a little category for pockets. Maybe I'll put those here. Okay. Getting that all set up, ready to go. All right. More stamps. I have some paper person stamps in here. So I'm going to put that in there. I love paper person. Love it. Just got a whole bunch of paper person things because I'm an affiliate with them on their PR. So got some stuff from them. Got some smaller chipboards. I think what I'm going to do is sort of designate a spot for chipboard using one of my little fabric containers. Okay. So that makes it a little bit easier for me to find those. And when I'm working, I can just pull out the container that I want, or I can just shop my little stash here. I think what I'll probably do is do a lot of decorating in my album this year. Okay. So we've got that set up. Got some more stickers. That's going to go here. Some of these products, when I share these projects, may not be available. I'm just going to let you know now. They may not be available because a lot of this is from 2, 3, 4 years ago. All right, I have a bin with twine. So I'm opening up another package where I have some smaller embellishments. I'm going to show you how I'm going to organize those. So I'm just going to put my twine that I like to buy, the twine and stuff from like Michael's. There's some that I've purchased from Hobby Lobby, some that I got from Allie Edwards. So I'm just going to put those in here. So I love my twine and ribbon. So that's going to go in here. There we go. So that's all good to go. Or I could probably just stand them up. It'll probably be easier for me to see. I love twine. It's my preferred fiber to use. There we go. Got my little twine collection. And you can go in your collection and see what you have. If you have ribbons and, you know, different bows and things you like, add that to your holiday cart. I do have just some smaller little tidbits of things. I just stick that in there. I have some ribbon that I used. I don't know what I bought this ribbon for. I can't remember. I hardly ever buy ribbon these days, to be honest with you. This spool of ribbon I bought several years ago, and I'm on my last little bit of it, so that's going to be used up this year. I hoarded that ribbon. Oh my goodness. I got some Tim Holtz twine. It's nice sort of textured distressed twine. Had to add that to my twine collection. It's kind of like a red and cream color. And then I can also, as I'm preparing for this, I give myself an opportunity to purge anything that I'm not going to use. Okay. So twine, all set up, twine and fibers, good to go. I'm just going to set that down there. We are rocking and rolling. Now, from my favorite store, the Dollar Tree, I like to get these little serving dishes that have the little divided little spaces, because then I can put smaller elements in these little containers. So I have some acrylic pieces and this little pouch here, all my little acrylic bits. So I'm just going to put those right in here. And these pouches are from Ali Edwards, and we used to get them with our Story by the Month kit. I do subscribe to that, but they don't do these pouches anymore. But I kept all of them that I have because they're great for stuff like this. All right, I also have a little package here of wood veneer and leather, and I think it's mainly wood veneer and leather elements. So again, I'm going to use my little divider here and just start putting those elements in here. So when I'm working, I just dig through what I want and grab what I need, right? Very easy, easy peasy. I like to sort them in types of elements. And there's all kinds of things here. There's tags, there's colored chipboard as well, painted chipboard that came with one of the kits. Very fun. So I'm going to put all of these little bits and pieces in there. In fact, let me set this down because I feel like I'm going to like drop it any second. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me go to the comments real quick as I'm doing this. Liz says, great idea, Carrie. Awesome idea. Denise, I have a totally Tiffany Carrie workstation. That's very similar. Awesome. Went off the deep end and made one out of foam board. That's awesome. Very handy. I have my DD stored in the same container. I have 2 of them. Sadly, they are discontinued. Oh no. Oh no. I really think that any project that you're doing, that you're going to do, to have your materials organized in some way that makes sense to you. Like the way I'm organizing my stuff makes sense to me. It may not make sense to you. You may or may not work for you. So you want to organize based on how you create. That's so important. Okay. Trying to get all these little bits and bobs together. Lots of fun little things. The fun is sometimes, I will admit, even though I keep saying that this is about the story, the product is so much fun. The product is a lot of fun. I will say, I was very good not to order anything new, guys. Very, very good. Yeah. A lot of people use Totally Tiffany for sure. Okay, so these little bits and pieces are organized in this little divided container. Got that at the Dollar Tree. Okay. I also like to have metal pieces like tags and clips and all those types of things. I have this little galvanized metal container that I got at Target some years ago. I'm telling you, Target Spot is the way to go. So any of those types of textured elements, I'm going to put right in here. I have some buttons from Felicity Jane, so I like to dig in my stash and whatever. I have some bells. This actually, I don't know where I got these bells from, guys, but I figured I could use it for something. And I do like making miniatures. So if I don't use it in my scrapbooking, then maybe I'll use it in my miniatures. So I'm getting out all of my clips, metal rim tags, which I love to use. I actually was inspired to use those by Allie some years ago. She uses a lot of these metal rimmed tags. You can get these at like Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And then I have some clips that have been in my stash for like ages. So that's going to go in there. Let's see. And then I also have these little rings. This is from Tim Holtz. So if I want to add some kind of interactive element using a little ring, then I have those there. I'm not quite sure what the rest of that is. I'll look at that later. So nice little bits and bobs. It's great to have little textured elements like this in your little stash. All right, speaking of texture, I have some larger texture elements here. These felt letters or felt numbers were a part of last year's release from, I think last year's release. And I love them, love them, love them, love them. You can make these if you want, but I purchased these from Allie Edwards. You could just get yourself some nice felt and then cut the number if you have an electronic cutting machine or some way of cutting letters or whatnot, or numbers, and then you can just stitch around them. And a lot of people went that route because these sold out quickly. They sold out quickly that year. And then I have some smaller felt ones as well. So I think what I'll do is I will put these behind here, the chipboard. There we go. All right. Then I have some other small little embellishments, and I have another container, but I don't know where it went. It's divided, but I'm going to go ahead and put those in at a later time. But these are felt and some acrylic little bits and bobs that I will organize a little bit later. Okay, I also have a little package of numbers because for this project, you can number your stories or number your days. It's completely up to you, or you don't have to at all. So I'm just going to put these in here. Some of them are chipboard. Some of them are cardstock. I have some of these cardstock ones. These were from Teresa Collins many, many years ago that I purchased. I don't know where. It's wood veneer. So I'm going to stick that in there. I also have some chipboard from Allie as well. This is a black one, a black version that she offered. That's what that looks like. And then I also have white as well. And in my album already, my pages are numbered, but if I want to switch out and change the number style, I can do that. So I have those extra numbers right there. Okay. And I only have one other little bag. What I like to do, this is not actually going to go, this is going to probably go in the back of the cart. I have this little plastic storage bag, and this was something that Allie offered last year, maybe the year before. And you can get these pouches, and you can keep different things in your pouches. I decided to keep memorabilia and just some extra supplies or extra things that I would want to add to my December daily album. So normally at the end of the year, I will gather all of my holiday cards. And if I have room in my December daily album, then I'll put my holiday cards in there, depending on how many cards I get. Some years I get a lot of cards, some years not so many. There's a while where my friends just stopped sending cards. And then it picked up, interestingly. People start sending cards again. Or things like my Starbucks bags that I like to add to my album. So just a little spot for memorabilia to go. And then that way I can just pop it in my album when I feel like it. And if it doesn't get used in this particular album, then, it's already organized in a pouch, and maybe at some point I will add it to a project. So I recommend having something that you can keep your memorabilia in, whatever it may be. So any tickets, tags, receipts, playbills, anything that you are kind of collecting throughout the month, have a little pouch to put that in. So that's what I'm using this for. And this will go on my December daily card. So my Vanna White, we might bend down too much. My legs hurt after working out today. So this is my holiday cart. And I will probably add my twinkle lights to this and a bow or something to make it festive. But I am all set and ready to go. And so my album, where did I put it? It's over there somewhere. I usually would have room for my album, but I think my album should be able to fit in here. But I'll either put my album here or somewhere close. And then what I'll do is when I get ready to work on my December daily project, I can just wheel this over to my craft space, to my craft desk, which is right in front of me. and then just start working. Everything is nice and organized. I can grab what I need. I'm so glad I did not buy anything. Y'all, when I say that I like avoided like the plague, anything of mentioning of December Daily product, I didn't look at any of the release. I couldn't tell you what Allie released this year or anybody else released this year. I was going to use my stash for my projects. And so I will buy stuff next year, but I'm going to try to use all of this for the 2022 and the other projects that I didn't finish. So I have plenty of product here and stamps and whatnot that I can use to work on this project. Okay. Alrighty. So I am, let me do this. So as I mentioned, which way am I going here? There we go. I was trying to move out the way. So again, my process, to kind of reiterate my process here, is I'm focusing on a mixture of everyday stories, some past stories or whatnot, using a 6x8 album that I've already have set up to save myself time and to use those materials. I have my project cart ready to go, so when I'm ready to start documenting and making layouts, then I don't have to search for my product, it's already there. I'm not worried about my other projects. They are going to remain unfinished until I get to them at some point next year or whatever. And if I want to, I can opt to make this perpetual. So if you watched my October daily project, you know that I turned that into a perpetual project so I can add to it whenever I feel like it. I'm not pressuring myself to finish. So if I just want to continue to add to this project, then I'll add to the project. Or if I'm done, then I'm done. And I'm not so much focusing on the idea that, oh, there's not much going on in my life. There's always something going on. There's always something that we can document, something that catches our eye, some thoughts, something that we do that works out well for this project. It doesn't have to be something that's specific to a holiday event or whatnot, particularly if that's not something you observe. As I mentioned, I put in my experience as a caregiver. It was not a Christmas related story at all, but it's just something that happened that particular December. My mom ended up in the hospital and I had a lot of caregiving responsibilities. Or one year I documented how tired and stressed I was. I was working a lot of hours and I documented that in my December daily. It doesn't always have to be the happy-go-lucky things. You document whatever you want to document in your December daily, daily-ish, December documented, whatever you want to call it. Alrighty. So that is my setup. That is my process. Starting Friday, I will be starting out with my December Daily 2022 series where I'll be sharing some of my layouts. I'll be making some of the layouts. I probably won't share every single one, but I will be sharing a great number of the layouts that I do. And then towards the end of the month, I will do, or once I feel that the album is done, then whatever that means, then I will do a walkthrough of the album. Let's see. Tammy says, I totally use Fiero candy containers as trays in my Alex drawers. Oh, yeah. She said super classy, but you are recycling those products. So why not? Why not? Have memorabilia in an old Ferrero Rocher case as well. Nice. Let's see. 5x7 photo containers are also great for storing small items. Yes, I've definitely done that before. They can be labeled. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. My December daily stuff has been organized in a variety of ways over the years. Guess I'll be buying my third Razzcock from IKEA today. Joanne. This may be my first year to complete one. You are a great motivator. Well, Kimberly, I certainly hope so. And I'll be sharing my progress. I want you to know that this can be as simple as you need it to be. It doesn't have to be something that is this big, long, drawn out situation. The main thing is just to have fun and enjoy documenting throughout the season. God, I've got oily skin. Anybody else have oily skin? I have oily skin. Oh my gosh. I can use like a whole bag of powder and then my skin's like, no, we're just going to be oily. Let's see here. Diane says, I just got the frosted white a couple weeks ago. Might want to check other stores warmer. Oh, you guys are talking about stackable containers. Oh, yes. The Target's bright room white frosted containers in the bath section she uses for her storage for the cart. Oh, that's really cool. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. That's actually a really good idea. Love that you're advocating to use what we already have. That's huge. Yes. Yes, you know what? The reason why I advocate for that is because I know that there are a lot of folks out there who watch these December daily videos, and whether it's me or somebody else, and we're showing, well, I'm not showing anything new this year because I didn't buy anything, but showing all the new stuff. And then we sometimes feel FOMO. And so if you're somebody where there's more month at the end of the money, meaning you're on a budget, or you just have a lot of stuff and you don't want to be overwhelmed, please know, even from the founder of December Daily herself, Allie Edwards, will tell you that you do not need to buy anything new to do this project. This is a storytelling journey. And whether you tell stories that are relevant to the holiday season or to the season in general, winter, or it could be, depending on where you're at, and whether you're north or south of the equator, it could be summer. It could be whatever it is that you want to be. That's the fun thing about this journey, is it can be whatever it is that you want it to be if you want to dig into this project. So no, you do not have to buy anything new. Everything I'm using is from my stash, and some of this stuff is at least at minimum a year old, if not much longer than that I've had some of this stuff. So it's obviously very important that you use what you have. I love my 4 carts. I have one for seasonal scrapbooking. Awesome, says Melody. I love my carts too. They're so easy to organize stuff with. So very cool. All right, guys, thanks so much for joining me today. It has been awesome. If you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe, click the bell so you'll be notified every time I go live. I'll be back next week live. I want to say with a let's scrap, like a layout, a 12 by 12 layout. And I will probably be using a cut file on that day using my Cricut. I think that's what I have scheduled for next week. And then I am going to I'm working on my December daily like today. So I usually don't wait until December. I start working on it soon. I've got a couple of stories that I want to prep, and then you'll see that video come out on Friday. Colleen says, how would you recommend start documenting? I don't know where to start with storytelling, new to this type of project. So one of the things first is I don't want you to overthink it. Don't overthink the process. The way I like to start out with is sometimes you can start with something that maybe has already happened, already occurred. Something that you enjoy. So maybe you do a page about your holiday favorites or your top 10 or your top 5. That's a really great way to start out. Or maybe you start out with, what are some of the typical things that you like to do? Do you like to go see a specific show? Do you like to go shop at a particular shop? Are there recipes that you like to make this time of year? Or are you enjoying a new holiday drink that someone introduced you to? Is there things that typically happen this time of year that maybe aren't holiday related that you feel are important, worth documenting? One of the things I highly recommend is Allie Edwards has a lot of classes and resources on her website and blog that will help you get ideas on where to start. And you can also Google prompts for either documenting December or December daily to kind of get you on your path. One of my things that I like doing if I'm stuck on where to start is doing like a list, a top 10, a top 5. My top 5 drinks I like to drink during the holiday, my top 10 movies I like to watch. And that kind of gives you a jumping off point. And then the stories will just start coming. Don't force yourself to document if you're not feeling it or if you're not quite sure what you want to document. And definitely look for creative inspiration online. There's lots of fantastic prompts and ideas out there to help you get started. So I hope that was helpful for you. Hey, Elma, thank you so much. Yeah, the cut file. Absolutely. I'll be using a cut file from the cut shop. I believe is what I have scheduled next Wednesday. I think it's on my schedule. Alrighty. If you have any other questions, post them in the comment section. I hope that you are inspired to, at least if you don't do a project like this, maybe you do one page, maybe you do a summary page this year of, what you're experiencing this month, this time of year, whatever that may be. It doesn't have to be a full out project. I will say that I love this project. I always have. And even though I didn't get my past 4 years done. I'm glad that it's there because it's something that I can revisit. I'm excited to fall back in love with my current stash, and I'm excited to document whatever stories are to come this month. And I'm really, really, really excited to share all that with you. And I hope that it's some inspiration, whether you want to try this project, this is your first year or your 10th year or whatever, coming along on this storytelling journey. So I posted a link to Allie's website in the description if you want to learn more about December Daily. Lots of resources on her website, classes, and products that you can choose. By the way, I'm not an affiliate or anything from Allie. Allie is just a dear friend. I love her product. I've been a long-time fan of hers before I even knew her personally, and she's amazing. So definitely check that out. There's other types of documenting projects and things throughout the year, so it's not just this one. For those of you who are new, there's others that are out there as well. This is just one that I really, really enjoy and like to do every year. All right, again, if you haven't subscribed here, make sure that you do. Click that bell indicator, and I'll be back next week with a new headband. Right? Today I was a little toy soldier. Little toy soldier. Can you tell I was a military kid? ROTC. Air Force. Anyway, so I'll be back next week, same time, 2:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. Of course, these live streams are recorded, so you can check out the replay when it's posted pretty much immediately after we finish the live. If you have any questions about December Daily or my process, post it down in the comment section below and look for more in this series to come. Have a fantastic week, you guys, and I will see you next Wednesday, 2:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks so much. Have a good one.